Let's begin with the latest from the world of sports. Ireland qualifying for the World Cup, more precisely, the FIFA World Cup corruption scandal. Last summer, a claim that FIFA paid hush money to stop the local football federation from suing over Thierry Henry's handball pass that qualified the French at the expense of the Irish for the 2010 World Cup came out. At the time, the Irish edition of The Sun rebaptized the Hand of Frog as the Handout of Frog. I don't know if you can see it there. They add a little out there. However, it turns out, after a week that's seen FIFA's seemingly immovable Supremo knocked off his perch, that story about Ireland was true.
And that was a Thursday, and on Monday the agreement was all signed and all done. It's a very good agreement for the FAI, a very legitimate agreement for the FAI. I'm bound by confidentiality for naming the figure. You've put a figure out there,
right?
And fair play to you. It was a payment to the association not to proceed.
Andreas Evagora, first of all, explain to us, why did FIFA pay money to Ireland for a lawsuit they probably would have lost?
I think Ireland would have had no chance of winning at all, which is why it's so surprising. It shows just the culture of, first, how much money there was and is around FIFA and how easy it is to throw it around. They just didn't want any bad publicity. And this case...
So €5 million is something you put with the parking tickets?
Yeah, it's pocket change. But this really is more serious for me than anything that went on the 10 days before. Because,
more serious?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Simply because this touches the integrity of what goes on the pitch. Remember, Ireland wanted the game to be replayed. I think fans and sponsors, they can put up with men in grey suits on the take. It's been happening in football for decades. But when it starts affecting actually the game itself, this is when it gets really dangerous. Remember athletics, what happened with the doping scandal. Athletics now is ignored between Olympic Games. That won't happen with football, but this is why this case in Ireland, which is true, it definitely did happen. It's a question of whether it was a loan or whether it was a payment. It's very, very serious for football.
Very serious for football. Do you think that without that payment, the game could have been replayed?
No, because I remember I was in this very studio the day after the Hand of Frog, Hand of Henri, whatever you want to call it. There was a match between Egypt and Algeria, which caused a huge diplomatic dispute. There were 9 minutes of injury time played, and Egypt scored in the 9th minute of injury time. Algeria would have had a perfectly good case to go to FIFA as well. Every day in football, the referee makes mistakes. But we've never had a lawsuit, and this has always been an area that FIFA has refused to go into. They don't want to get involved in national law courts because that opens up a whole can of worms for them. That's why it's surprising to me that they agreed to pay that money, which they say was a loan. But again, what's really worrying is not the fact whether it was a loan or a gift. It was not recorded on anyone's books. There was no record of this until a couple of days ago. John Deloney saying, "Oh yeah, we got €5 million from FIFA." It's not in FIFA's books anyway. It's been completely covered up. That's the problem.